Hey, welcome back. It's your boy, The Machine, and this is the Rumble Mania Slam Survivor Show, the RMSS show. We've been going for a while, but we're back, and we're starting back to we're gonna do some shows, and we're gonna keep it going, keep it moving like how we used to before. Kind of fell off at the end of the year, but it is what it is, and we're back. So long story short, we're gonna get right into it. We're gonna talk about everything in the wide world of wrestling. As we've done before as a weekly show. But today's topic and today's show is about what's wrestling's Mount Rushmore. So, who would you consider to put in wrestling's Mount Rushmore? Who would be your four top stars, top entertainers, top wrestlers, whichever way you want to categorize it, as long as they made a big contribution to the industry of wrestling, no matter what promotion it was in, if it's WCW, ECW, WWE, WWF, NWA, blah, 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 whatever promotion it was in, TNA, as long as you feel that's your four, and that's your wrestling's Mount Rushmore. Now, as far as my four, which I'm going to tell you right now, each individual had some type of contribution, and don't want to give any spoilers or anything, but you'll see my four, and unfortunately, all of them really kind of started from the WWE, WWF actually, and with most people's Mount Rushmore, it might be the same case because of how dominant WWF and WWE been in the industry. So if you all four come from the WWF or WWE like mine's, so be it. As long as you tell me what's your four, I'd like to hear. Definitely leave it in the comments below or through email, which I'll leave the email at the end of this video, okay? But anyway, long story short, this is my four, and I'm going to start off with one I think that might be in a lot of people's Mount Rushmore. And if you feel anything is incorrect, definitely let me know. Definitely leave in a comment, all right? But I'm going to start off with number one, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Now, the only person, and I'm going to give you reasons behind why I selected everybody such and such. The reason why I selected Stone Cold Steve Austin for this top four Mount Rushmore, and don't mistake this as top four wrestlers of all time. These are top four. This is the Mount Rushmore. These are people that contributed to the industry as much as possible and bring out the best out of the industry as they possibly can. So Stone Cold was the Babe Ruth of the Attitude Era, which in my opinion was the best era of wrestling. He was the Barry Bonds. He was just the Michael Jordan. He was the Attitude Era in any promotion. Stone Cold outsold Hulk Hogan, and he's the only wrestler that could actually say that he done that. His career wasn't that long. I think it only spanned roughly around 7 years in the WWE, but his impact was great. So I have to go with Stone Cold, and I'm certain he's in probably 95% of y'all Mount Rushmore. Number two is Hulk Hogan. Like I stated before, only one person outsold him, and that was Stone Cold Steve Austin. So Hulk Hogan at the time, he was in the Golden Era and also in the Attitude Era, in a different promotion though. He wasn't in WWE, he's in WCW at the time. And a lot of younger people only know him as a WCW character, as Hollywood Hulk Hogan. But he was very instrumental in the Attitude Era, along with the Golden Era. So he spanned two big eras, and he even kind of like snuck his way into the Ruthless Aggression era. He wasn't as big as he was. He wasn't the it guy at the time, but he was in that era also. So he spent close to 3 eras and was the big dog for the majority of those eras. So that's kind of amazing. The guy couldn't do no wrong in the 80s, early 90s till that steroid scandal, but this guy was the beginning and end of wrestling in the 80s, in the Golden Era, when WWF was making a lot of money. Number three, I have to give it to The Undertaker. The Undertaker now is becoming so mainstream. He's branching off into going to Cleveland Cavalier games and being on LeBron James T-shirts and everything. And LeBron James is wearing T-shirts of the Undertaker. He's just becoming so mainstream. He's just becoming such a phenomenal draw right now. And he's always been for the longest time. I mean, he's spanned a few decades in the industry, and he's the Undertaker. He had the longest streak in professional sports entertainment history as far as WrestleMania wins and undefeated streak. And to see how mainstream that becoming, it's not just only wrestling industry thing. It became mainstream. It became a mainstream topic when he was defeated by Brock Lesnar in WrestleMania 30. It was talked about ESPN. It's talked about to this day as a streak being snapped, and the streak going into that, the streak was just such a big thing. I gotta put Taker. I mean, he hasn't had a lot of title runs, and maybe he's gonna retire with a title run now. But he is the Undertaker. Let's go back. Let's talk about this a little real quick before we get into number 4. But Undertaker was he's a character. And back when they had character wrestling, back in the late 80s, early 90s, when they had these goofy characters, the Earthquake, Giant Gonzalez, all these dumb, stupid characters that never latched on and had longevity, only might have a short shelf run, like maybe a year or so, and Papa Shango, and all these weird characters that just was character wrestling. Undertaker's character stood the test of time and lasted from then to now, and probably even beyond. He's the only character that's still left in wrestling. He's the only character that was there in the early 90s, throughout the 90s, 2000s, 2010s. He's the Undertaker. And nobody else could say they had a character that lasted over 30 years in professional wrestling. You might be a Ric Flair, but you're not a character. He never broke kayfabe. This guy is just the Undertaker. So yes, he's on my Mount Rushmore. Number 4, y'all might have some gripes with. Might not be in a lot of people's Mount Rushmore. But the reason why I have to put him in my Mount Rushmore, I believe he kind of started Vince changing his views towards a smaller wrestler. And I don't know if you figured it out, but I'll give you a few clues before I say who it is. At one point, Hulk Hogan didn't want to put him over, and Hulk Hogan felt he was too small. So no, he's not somebody from the 2000s, but he's somebody from a past era. He was a tag team. He was a tag team champion back in the late 80s, early 90s. Actually, early 90s. He was the excellence of execution. He was Bret Hart and still is Bret Hart, and he's probably my favorite wrestler of all time. One small fact that you might not have known, at the height of Bret Hart's popularity, he actually was getting more fan mail than Hulk Hogan ever did. And this is something that employee of WWF actually mentioned. The reference I can't remember, but if you can't find it, send it to me and look it up yourself, and then let me know, piggyback on what I just told you, that tidbit of information I just sent to you. He was getting more fan mail than Hulk Hogan at the time, so he's very popular. He in ring, I would say him, maybe Kurt Angle, and probably only a handful of wrestlers had the in ring skill that this guy had, if not none at all. He was the greatest in ring performer in my opinion. Bret Hart, he was excellent at executing the moves. He carried matches, had many 5-star matches, and Bret Hart, I think, in my opinion, gave Vince a vision of what a small wrestler could do, a smaller wrestler, because he's not a small person per se, but what a smaller wrestler could do more so than the big, brooding Hulk Hogan's and the King Kong bunnies and stuff like that he used to push back in the days. Yeah, you could push me. This helped Shawn Michaels get the push that he got. This helped CM Punk get the push that he got. Even though CM Punk had to go out there and take it because Vince went back to his old days because he didn't have no competition no more. But Vince understood now that, hey, listen, small wrestlers could be a draw. And I think The reason why Vince opened his eyes to that, because he seen what Bret Hart did. So that's my Mount Rushmore. I'm gonna go through it again. Stone Cold, and this is once again, this is not top 4 wrestlers all time. This is just my Mount Rushmore, 4 great wrestlers that I put on my list. I had a few people that fell short, but as far as my 4 is Stone Cold, Hulk Hogan, Taker, and Bret Hart. If you agree or disagree, let me know. Leave it in the comments. Look out for a few more other videos coming out real soon, and probably another week or so. I'm going to do my top 25 greatest wrestlers of all time. It's going to be a 2-part series, a 2-part video. First 25 to 10, the first 15 wrestlers, and then the last 10 to 1. Also with that, I'm doing a Royal Rumble preview. The Royal Rumble is coming up, and look forward to that too. Like I said, leave a like and subscribe to his channel. Tell your friends. Comments below. Leave an email. You can send your emails to machine 2.0. That's the word machine, the number 2, the word point o at gmail.com. And you know, any questions or anything like that, anything you want to be read or answered in the video, definitely leave it there. Please leave your Mount Rushmore for me and tell me why you selected these 4. I'm your host, the Machine 2.0, and this is the Rumble Mania Slam Survivor Show, the RMSS show. Peace.